A buddy of mine who's a scout said to me, "You know what, Krug? I'm going to tell you what I think." I said, "Give me your thoughts on the Niner quarterback thing, not reports. Just tell me what you think. You watch football, you know the players, you know Kyle, you know what he likes, and you know all four of these quarterbacks to some degree. What do you think?" And this guy who gets paid for his opinion said, "I think Brock Purdy's your one, and wait for this, Brandon Allen will be number two." That's what he said. And I said, "What? What? Really? Brandon Allen is going to be number two in front of Sam Darnold and Trey Lance? Really?"
Wow.
And he said, "Brandon Allen does what Kyle Shanahan wants. He's got movement. He's got ability to run the bootleg game. He's got decent. He's got requisite arm strength, and said he's a playmaker who's developed quietly behind Joe Burrow, and people don't realize that. And that Kyle is hot on Brandon Allen and sees way more potential in Brandon Allen than I do or anybody else does." And I said, I cannot believe that. And I thought Brandon Allen, I told him, I said, I was there at every practice. I thought Brandon Allen had a couple really good days. I'm not gonna pretend that he was terrible. He was not terrible. He threw some dimes. There's no question. But he also had some nightmarish days. He had one day that I don't think he completed a pass. I mean, he might have been 0 for 7 or 1 for
One for
8
eight or something. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there was one day that he was truly off. And he's like, it's not about minicamp accuracy. It's about, can you run the system? And he said, at the end of the day, Kyle wants mobility and a good decision maker and reliability. And Brandon Allen checks those boxes more than inexperienced Trey Lance and wildly inconsistent Sam Darnold. He's like, Krug, take it to the bank. Brandon Allen will wind up being QB2 for the 49ers. And this guy draws a check, and this guy's not a first-year scout. This guy's been doing this for 22 years. So, I mean, it's been, I'm like, it blew my freaking mind. But at the same time, the same way I try to keep an open mind, I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to keep an open mind. I go, I'm going to share that. I, of course, am not going to divulge your name, but I'm going to share that. He's like, feel free to share it. I've said it to 8 or 9 different people that have asked me about it. I said, okay.
I'm not going to jump on that guy and say he's wrong because I'm sure his opinion is very validated and very credible. But if that is how it plays out, I'll just say this. Kyle deserves whatever happens to this team. I'll just leave it at that. And if that means Purdy goes down and you're relying on Allen and you've gotten rid of Trey and Sam Darnold's not even the guy, but you paid Sam Darnold to kind of be that guy, he deserves everything that comes his way. I'll simply leave it at that.
If Brandon Allen, I mean, I went back and watched Brandon Allen at Arkansas. And, I saw some nice things. You can see mobility, but I don't even think he's got Purdy type arm strength. I think he's got arm strength that's even less than Brock. And I don't see Purdy escapability. I kind of see a guy who knows. I'll say this. He's very competitive. I'll give him the competitive thing. And I can see the footwork is definitely improved in this camp compared to what I watched when I watched him at Arkansas, which is to be expected. But that would just blow my mind if Brandon Allen somehow is number 2. I said to him, I said, you know what? Unless Trey Lance falls on his face in the preseason, I think Trey Lance has got to be number 2 going into the season, ahead of Darnold and ahead of Allen. I said, otherwise, I think you're going to get a significant pushback from a lot of people that are going to be really, really disappointed that they're going to be disappointed first that Trey's not getting his opportunity. But I said that I feel like that disappointment is going to then be turned into some really anti-Kyle and John rhetoric that is going to be seen in social media and will be seen by the NFL world because I think there's an understanding here that Trey Lance is going to get an opportunity. And if Trey Lance doesn't get that opportunity to compete and an opportunity to play, and Brandon Allen gets that opportunity, Brandon Allen, all I got to say is Brandon Allen better have a hell of a preseason. Otherwise, there's going to be significant pushback.
Yeah, I don't know that any of that necessarily matters, like if the fans are outraged, but here's where it does matter. If for some reason Brock Purdy doesn't pan out and they're wrong about that decision, then all the people that have supported Kyle through thick and thin, a lot of those people are going to jump off that bandwagon. And that's when it starts to matter, because York is definitely cognizant of the fan base and the pulse of the fan base. And you can tell that in his decision making many times over. So everything's great now. And if Brock works out and he plays the whole season and is the future, everything is good to go. Who cares about the Trey Lance situation? Who cares about if he chose Brandon Allen to be the back? None of that matters. But if Brock Purdy gets hurt again, or he's not the guy that they think he was, and then Trey doesn't get the shot, or Sam, who you spent money on, and you go with Brandon Allen and you don't win, yeah, it's going to be very, very ugly, very quickly. I agree.
I mean, Brandon Allen better do something extraordinary in the preseason, or Trey Lance and Sam Darnold better fall on their face and really look bad, or there's going to be an awful lot of people going, "What? Really?"
Yeah.
What is the end game if Brandon Allen plays well? Forget where he sits on the depth chart, but if Brandon Allen plays well in the preseason, like my scout friend says he's going to, what's the impact of that? Does that mean that they're going to wind up trading Trey Lance? Does that mean they're going to wind up cutting or trading Sam Darnold? I mean, they're not going to have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. So who do you think ultimately gets dumped if Brandon Allen is a player?
Yeah, assuming that Brock is the starter week 1 and everything seems to be trending that way, you got to believe that Trey Lance would be the odd man out there, right? I mean, it makes the most sense. He's the youngest. He probably has the most value. You probably want to do right by him if he's everything that you've said he is, a nice kid, and you really enjoy him in the locker room, and he's a good teammate and smart and all the things that you've said. Then I got to imagine he would be the odd man out just based off of wanting to do right by him. But then also because I think that you probably get the most for him than you would maybe over a Sam Darnold or an Allen. So yeah, I would say Trey would have to be the odd man out.
What is Trey worth if indeed the deal comes down and they cross that bridge? What do you think what do you think he nets? What do you think he brings them?
Man, if it goes down like that and Allen's the backup, a Cheez-It, some pocket lint, you know what I mean? Like anything? I don't know. Is there any value there? I'm not sure. I really couldn't tell you.